Hey guys, we're on the range today. It's Friday, June the 13th. So Friday the 13th. Oh, goody. Getting ready to film another range session here with the bow. Got something set up that, well, it interested me. So hopefully it'll interest you. But I'm also going to introduce to you here the next segment in the live journal, the DIY archery series that I'm putting out here. Again, guys, this is all stuff that I've learned as I've progressed along. I am not a professional, and I am not the guy that's going to sit here and tell you how to win world championships. So this is just a starter and an introductory into shooting the compound bow. So the first video was a introduction into the steps that I took in order to shoot. First one, the biggest one being film yourself. The camera doesn't lie. You can lie to yourself. You can draw, you can shoot, say, well, that feels good. But if you don't know any better, you're teaching yourself. You don't know if just because it feels good doesn't necessarily mean it's right. Sometimes you've got to improve and change things in order to improve. And filming yourself really shows you that, because it's going to tell you what you're doing wrong. So film yourself and break it down. See what you're doing right, what you're doing wrong, and what you need to focus on. The second video was all about this guy right here, the release, trigger control. I noticed big problem that I had in filming, now that the bug's gone. So I noticed when I was reviewing my films, and the biggest problem that I had was as I was drawing, I was punching that trigger. I was slapping that trigger. You could actually watch my finger just smack straight down. And I didn't like that. You know, as I was reviewing on how to shoot and everything else, just like with guns and archery, you know, trigger control, the way you release is very important. And I wanted to improve upon that. First thing I did was I adjusted my release. I shortened it up so that instead of hitting the tip of my finger like you would with a gun, you actually want your release hitting more towards that middle knuckle. And you're wanting that thing to be a slow draw, and you actually want to be pulling back as you're releasing. That way it's a surprise shot to you. So I shortened my release. It actually hits, without being drawn, it hits about middle of my palm. Once I draw, it hits right there where it needs to be. And I also worked on what they call blind shooting. Now, normally, the videos and stuff that you would see if you would research what blind shooting is will tell you to build up an entire wall of targets, draw, close your eyes, shoot. And the idea is just, you don't care where you're hitting, you're just trying to feel that trigger and you want it to be a surprise. So you just slowly squeeze and just shoot. You do something similar with guns at the range. You know, especially like with a long gun, you just sit there and you just squeeze that trigger and you have that thing just click. You don't even put a live round in there. You watch yourself, you can film yourself shooting, and it's a great tip because if you see yourself jerk, you're anticipating recoil. For archery, that's called target panic, and we all get it. Every one of us get this issue in every form of shooting. I mean, I get it still with deer. You know, I'll get drawn or I'll get on target. And when my brain catches up to what my body is doing and says, ooh, that's perfect, shoot, all of a sudden I'll panic and I'll freeze. Just in that fraction of a second, I'll just kind of go, oh, what? You know, and I get all in my head and it throws everything off. So I wanted to overcome that with archery. That's a big problem with archery. It's called, you know, target panic. And that's where, you know, you're sitting there, you're waiting, you're holding, everything's lined up perfectly, and you're like, okay, shoot. And you'll basically rush yourself and you'll make a bad shot. So to overcome that is to get that feeling of squeeze and surprise by having your eyes closed. Don't worry about where you're shooting at. What I ended up doing, because I ain't got, you know, 8 feet of targets to put out, is I set several targets up, got up real nice and close, and just kind of drew down. I kept my eyes open well enough so that I knew I was in the vicinity, and then I just kind of closed my eyes and squeezed the trigger, and it helped. It really did. So these are tips for you guys to overcome target panic and to properly release your release and shoot your bow. So I hope you like it, and yeah, we'll see you on the next video, I guess. All right, we're gonna try some things today. Made some adjustments on my release. plan is to slow down, really focus more on where and how I'm releasing my shot. I'm going to even try here in a little bit and do some blind shooting. Noticing in the last video that I'm slapping and punching my trigger when I'm shooting, and big thing that they taught is to release and let it come back as a surprise. So we're going to try that, see how that works. Shot pretty good, felt kind of weird. That felt a little bit better. Wind's blowing me around real bad. All right, we shortened the release up even more. I still didn't like where I was hitting. Once I drew back and put all that tension on it, it was hitting still a little too far forward for what they were saying, and just didn't quite feel right. So we tried shortening it up a little bit. Fighting the wind's not fun. That felt good. That actually felt really good. I'm hitting where I'm aiming a whole lot better too. Could be something said for it. If everybody else says to try it, you should probably try it. Shot 2. Shot 1. We're gonna try that a couple more times because that really felt good. And seemed to really help keep me on target a little better, you know? Didn't float as much, didn't bounce as much. I think I punched it that time because of that little jerk. Something I'm combating. I don't know if it's just I need to build muscle up or what. That felt good, looked good. Let's try it one more time. Nice. All right, so that was top one is shot 1, bottom one shot 3, and that's shot 2. All right, I'm like 5 yards away. I got the oldest, most beat up arrow I have. I want to try this blind shooting at least once. So the idea, because I don't have a wall of targets in front of me, I'm gonna just kind of draw, make sure I'm pointed down towards the big group of targets I got there in hopes that I don't miss, and then I'll close my eyes and focus on squeezing the trigger. I have a feeling it's going to feel really weird. Well, we didn't lose an arrow. Yay! Try that again. That time felt a little bit better. Not bad for your eyes closed. So 2 shots, blind. First one felt really weird. Second one felt a little bit better. All of this that I'm doing is up close to watch my form. Try and get that down. Okay, right now, shortening that release feels a lot better. Shooting better too. All right. Only because it was really cool last time when I did this. I'm gonna try it again. Going for the 3D deer target. Let that gust of wind blow by first. That about blew me over. Woo! Yeah! I love that. That's awesome. So, just those small things really helped out a lot. The consistency was a lot better today. All I did is I shortened my release up to where it indexed my finger more in the middle of it versus the tip. I always thought of it like a trigger on a gun. Thought, you know, that tip had a hit, but you actually want to squeeze all the way kind of through. They say, you know, leave this loose. It feels comfortable tucked in there. I just make sure I'm not squeezing and tightening those muscles up. So just kind of loosely just squeeze, and it made the shot a lot more consistent. Just a couple of things like that I learned researching online and watching YouTube videos. Some things do work.